10 4. Heading back to that original address. Can I get the call number? Funny.
Correspondent Alex Salvi, who is joining us live from Washington. Alex.
Jay Tracy, it's good to be with you. The White House, of course, is keeping a close eye on those high-stakes negotiations that are taking place in the Middle East with Iranian and U.S. delegations, describing them as productive, but they're still hoping that there's some sort of breakthrough here in these talks. The U.S. delegation, spearheaded by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, and mediated by the Iranians in the capital of Muscat. You're seeing some of the images coming out from this morning. Washington is looking to address a range of issues here, such as Tehran's nuclear program, its ballistic missile supporting proxy groups in the region, and of course, a brutal crackdown on its own people that we saw with the protests earlier this year. Iranian officials, in the meantime, are hoping to keep these talks narrowly focused on the nuclear issue and not any of those other prior topics. In fact, today's meeting nearly didn't happen at all after the Iranians voiced objections to the format of the talks, as well as the original venue. But they may not be left with much of a choice at this point as the U.S. continues its massive military buildup across the region. President Trump is warning that, quote, bad things could happen if a deal is not reached. But the White House says that they're giving diplomacy this one final chance.
Look, the president, diplomacy is always his first option when it comes to dealing with countries all around the world, whether it's our allies or our adversaries.
You don't need it to be perfect.
The president standing by for
You just...
Do you know this girl?
Now, as of this afternoon, the president is signing executive orders before departing for Florida for the weekend. And on Sunday, the president will be attending a Super Bowl watch party with Caroline Levitt, adding that Trump will likely not be watching that Bad Bunny halftime show, but instead the Kid Rock show that'll be put on by Turning Point USA.
Every act of restraint is an act of self-respect.
For us. Thank you, Alex. All right, now we go to Tucson, Arizona with the other big story of the day, where the urgent search is on for today's show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. The clock is ticking for law enforcement, now desperately searching for the 84-year-old. At this hour, the Guthrie family is demanding proof of life. Savannah's brother just released this video.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly.
Between
we need
the
you
thought
to reach out,
and the
we
action.
need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Authorities believe that Nancy is still out there, and now the first ransom deadline has passed and a second expires Monday with reportedly more serious consequences if the demands are not met. For more, we're going to welcome in CEO of Open and Unsolved Cases, Morgan Wright. Morgan, welcome to National Update. Thanks for your time today. As you know, the FBI is involved with the videos coming from the family. What do you make of what we just heard from Savannah's brother, Cameron? The video message we saw Wednesday had all of the children in it. How is this different?
You know, a friend of mine is Dave Riker. He was the lead investigator of the Green River killing, and they communicated, right? They were trying to get the message out there. When you look at BTK, you look at the DC sniper, one of my friends was on the hostage negotiation team. Words mean things, so the FBI is behind this. I think what they're asking for is they've reached a stage towards like, either this is a very sophisticated scam using Bitcoin, using things that you might be able to glean, or it's actually a truly ransom. But if it is, somebody has to say, and the point is, proof of life, it's more like, hey, prove to me that she's still alive if you're talking about ransom. So I think what they're trying to do is up the stakes a little bit to get a response from these people to say, you want something from us, but we need something from you first in order to make this transaction happen.
Yeah, and we know, Morgan, there's been no direct contact with the family, and the reported ransom note says that the family will have no way of contacting them. So what do you make of that approach? And because, you know, there is no direct contact with the family, how would the kidnappers actually arrange to receive the ransom or even release Nancy?
You know, this is very similar to the way ransomware works. I mean, you know, from a software standpoint, and these gangs are very sophisticated. They have communication channels, communication protocols. They have a Bitcoin address too, but they have an encrypted way of communicating back and forth to do negotiations. They want 5 million. The victim may say we can only pay 100,000, and then they go from there. This is what's missing in this. This is what raises a red flag for me to say if it is a kidnapping for ransom. They are going so far out of what you don't want to say normal, but outside of the bounds that is normally contained in a negotiation like this. There has to be some contact, but the red flag it raises for me is actually, you know, the more I listen to this, the more I wonder if it's truly the ransom, the kidnappers, or if this is really a sophisticated extortion scheme where somebody has got some inside knowledge or some inside information. I'm not saying it's that, but I'm saying without that, and there's no way to communicate. The family has to make a very excruciating decision: is do we err on the side of caution and give the money without any return, without any confirmation that Nancy is still alive? That's a very tough decision to put the family in.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I want to talk about the timeline because I think it's really good kind of to go back and look at that again. They believe Nancy was returned home around 9:30, and then later the doorbell got disconnected, and you can see at what time her pacemaker lost contact with her phone or her watch. So, you know, one may think, well, this doesn't seem random, like somebody had to know her, have some kind of connection. I know that the sheriff said, made a mention that, you know, they're looking at everyone. But what about you, Morgan? I mean, do you think a lot of times in these cases it is somebody who knows the victim? What do you think?
It's hard to tell in this. One mistake, you want to call it a mistake, they did make, if they did know her and they did know her medical conditions, that they did not take her medication that was needed to keep her alive, because that's their leverage in a case like this. The other thing is, and this is one of the things I wrote on my stack, Open and Unsolved, I talked about the timelines, how important it is to exhaust it and get it down to the point of where it's very narrow. And now we've gotten to the point of where was movement detected by the camera. Even though it's not recording, the sensors still work, detect movement, send an alert. Her pacemaker pinged at 2:10. It did not ping again at 2:28. So now we have an 18-minute window, and it may be even less than that. The other thing I'd like to know from the software, if it's capable, whether it just pings and it can determine is she in normal, sinus rhythm? Is there any kind of activity going on that would be concerning? Was she an extremist at that point? In other words, if she's asleep at 2:10 and then woken up after that, her heart rate would obviously go up. That's what humans do when you're scared like that. So I'd like to know what happened at 2:10, because if we can shrink that window down even farther, you're talking about increasing or reducing exponentially the amount of time and territory you have to look when you're thinking about cameras, you're thinking about vehicles, you're thinking about movements. Physics, you can't violate the laws of physics. You can only go so far so fast in those areas because it's like a bowl of spaghetti. Those roads are not right angle roads. Those are all over the place. So that kind of implies that knowledge or somebody recon the area part that they did reconnaissance on the objective, which is part of the terrorism mindset.
Yeah, Morgan, we have less than a minute left, but I know there are a lot of questions here and not a whole lot to go on. But where do investigators look next?
What you have to do is you always start with the family, and you work out, you eliminate those things. But the other thing, too, that they're constrained by is the coverage, from cameras. These areas are not conducive to seeing the streets because of the way the house sits back. So you're not getting a lot of coverage there. You look at Arizona 511, where all the traffic are, that might help. And so it's going to be down to data.
All right, Morgan, we'll leave it right there. Thank you so much for having problems with your audio. We're going to have to bring you back next week, but thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate that. And we're going to bring in our special guest right now, legal affairs reporter for the Washington Times, our friend Alex Sawyer.
The highest
Alex,
skill
this is
not speed.
Oh, yeah, it is totally heartbreaking. It's one of those stories that I think we're going to see, a Dateline, a 48 Hours. It's going to be made into a documentary on Netflix. It's just, there's so many questions about it that everyone's kind of like clicking on different headlines. What's the latest to find out, tuning into the local news. Where do we even take it from here? We can talk about it, you and I, probably from a journalist perspective, because it's very curious that these ransom notes, I think they went out to local news outlets, and TMZ is the one that went ahead and broke the news. Was that the right thing to do? These local outlets, I think they were the ones that handed it over to investigators. From a journalistic standpoint, you want to make sure that this is authentic. You don't want to put anyone in harm's way. And also, we don't know, was there, the lawyer in me is like, was it handwritten? Is it printed? haven't seen images. I haven't seen images of this note. And you would think if it was handwritten, they might be able to compare some of these notes. They might be able to compare that. And like your previous guest just talked about making sure to eliminate family, look at family members' handwriting. All of that, I'm sure is being done, or you would hope it's being done.
You would hope. And a lot of times in cases like this is really, it's sick people do this. They try to take advantage of the situation and take advantage of the family and their heartache. And actually, there was, I guess, at least one person that has been arrested in connection with a fake ransom demand. So how does that play out, do you think? I mean, what could these people or person be charged with for that?
Well, I think that they're going to make sure this person isn't connected or legitimate, right, to what's actually happening, this ongoing scheme. And then, of course, they could be charged with a number of crimes. Extortion, obviously, would be one of them, because my understanding is these ransom notes are asking for Bitcoin, which also is, you can say it's like the Wild West of money, right? So there could be an element there to explore. Is this like a crime ring? Is there a national effort to this? It just seems like there's a ton of areas that law enforcement can go.
Yeah, a lot of questions there, and of course on the border with Mexico. So that brings up another question. Alex, thank you so much. Stick around.
Thank you.
Because we're going to have you back later in the show. All right. Well, as Savannah Guthrie's brother makes another plea for the safe return of his mother, now missing for 6 days, a live report on the next steps the FBI is taking to find a suspect. And you have to show your ID to get on a plane or buy an alcoholic beverage, but nope, not to vote here in American elections. What the push for the voter ID SAVE Act could mean for the upcoming midterms. That's when we come back. Stay with us.
Federal agencies urge every family to have an emergency radio. During any disaster, electrical power may get cut. The emergency radio gives you the vital information you need. Newsmax wants you to have the Dynamo Emergency Band Radio. It doesn't need batteries and works in any emergencies. It retails for $30. You can get it with the free offer. Call or go online and get the emergency radio today. Your life may depend on it.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable and inconvenient, but with a Generac home standby generator, your
I'll be out at 9522 County Road 1178. 10th contact.
Other important ingredients. Prostate Revive's exclusive formula helps promote normal prostate function, and that means you can reduce the urge to go and finally get a good night's sleep.
Here's how you can try Prostate Revive risk-free. Call or visit our website now, and we'll send every new customer a risk-free 30-day trial of Prostate Revive. You just cover the low shipping and handling. This is a $39.95 value, so don't delay. Call or go online today.
And the people behind me have done an incredible job, because if we didn't have that administration, it would have been so much easier.
Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, is still waiting for proof of life. A reward of $50,000 is on the table, and a deadline for ransom has come and gone, with another potentially more serious deadline on the way. We go now live to the ground on Tucson, Arizona. That is where we find our Sarah Williamson. Sarah, what more can you tell us?
Roger that. Just want to give you an FYI.
Well, investigators say that they still believe that Nancy is still out.
You can just
It's going to be channel 102 for you.
Yes, we decided last night.
Thank you.
David? Sound good? Roger that.
Silence trimming completed.
Orbits in the opposite direction to the spin of the planet. Travelling around Neptune in its tidally locked orbit, with the same side facing inwards at all times,
JSON generation
Triton
complete
orbits
with
in a clockwise
multi-word
direction, while Neptune spins on its axis every 16.11 hours, anti-clockwise. Such dissonance between planet and satellite suggests that it is very unlikely that Triton and Neptune formed at the same time. A planet and moon system found.
Never mind, I gotta trust you. I'm through.
Security alert. Unsecure.
A little bit past you. You're probably gonna have to stop him for a second.
Security alert. Unsecured detect.
White House. Okay, 10-4.
Let Johnny's thoughts remain his own.
Six 3881 David.
Security alert.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Evil twin detected.
Yes, ma'am. They were working on the HVAC system, and that caused the fire alarm. We're going to be clear shortly.
Yeah.
Real strength does not need to hide behind invisible.
91 1070. All clear. Route 32 1070. All clear.
Alone since January 20th has removed over 25,000.
You move the world with words now.
Anyway, if you guys have any questions about this, hit me up down in the comments below. I will try to check out the issues or questions. If you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing and also hitting the bell notification icon so you know when the next video will be out. And as they were in their case,
Trim complete. Process 20, quarantine 1. Renaming complete. 20 files renamed.
Crosstown. 37. Okay. I need you to head to Sam Rankin and Lobo. Templar, we'll be finished in a few minutes. Could you text it to me by any chance? Yeah, it's still kind of right there in the area. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
PD's the animal control.
Thank you, sir. I'll be out there too.
Come and hit this head wall over on this side.
Hey, C909, dispatch.
They don't have a radio in there.
I just realized they were in the rental.
They did the side where I'm at, but they didn't touch the other side.
Our check goes out, going that way here in a bit. You're going to go drop off the trailer and the zero turn. Section, are you talking about?
They're not even edging along the sidewalks by the head walls. This is at Airline.
Become more accessible to the general public in the near future, especially because you can do certain things with these printers that can't be done with traditional printers. So thanks to the team at Berkeley for letting me showcase their cool technology. They're actually trying to make
the head wall had Airline on both sides. They didn't do the concrete of the sidewalk, and they didn't do around the holes by the fence. So they just took a bunch of stuff.
Take 15, come.
I mean, they did one side of the head wall, but didn't do the other side.
504.
Going to be on 4.
And I sent them back to Airline.
Back in Portland and available.
Cowboy.
LTS, and so
Route 5, 4 down, 3 around.
29, after which we'll upgrade to Bishop 4. And in this respect, note that an upgrade tool will soon allow an upgrade from OS 17 to 18. However, we are able to do a clean install, so let's go over to the download page.
Easier on your knife. Her mom had an extra and gave it to me. That night I cut raw chicken on it, rinsed it with just water, and it was spotless. No smell, no
You are the author. I am only the...
I'm trying to middle school. Too much, Mike. 10-7 with 0 passengers on board.
I thought it was funny. I'd put up with this shit 20 years. I got more experience.
The guy for state is here for the walkthrough. You want to meet me up front in the office, Public Works? 10-4.
Security alert. Evil twin detected.
That require no explanation except a complete abomination of the place that we turned down right now and reference. So when people talk about this department weaponizing, it's embarrassing. Because there's no scenario which you can look at what we're doing, restoring justice, doing the right thing in every single case, and say that that's weaponization, and yet remain eerily silent about what.
I think, like, you know what's inside your teddy bear? Yeah, that. But
Let
that's
Johnny's
what
thoughts remain his own.
I mean,
that
this teddy bear is a regular teddy bear before Cloud Pets, right?
Yeah.
Someone was like, oh, I have a brilliant idea. We'll put a mic in it. We'll make a mobile app. And they just shoved it in the bear's bottom.
And would you say there's a big difference between, you know, what they put inside a teddy bear and what they put inside a stovetop?
No, there's not a big difference. And that's the terrifying thing. If someone can reverse engineer how your stove works, right?
Yeah.
And
You keep coming back. I like that.
11 base, please be turning from New York. 10-4.
Security alert.
16, I'll tell him back to 10.
Evil twin detect.
Hey, cool, big one, Louis.
Little bit more.
Out of line. I still can if you want, I don't mind. I'll meet you halfway, sir. I'm going right now. Did you place a call in the system?
Go ahead and open it up.
LVC JSON generation complete with multi-word groups.
I've shared most of my thoughts already.
Now we go
by 25. We hit 100.
Any antenna side,
we hit 100 over there, and then you drop that down to 75.
They charge dozens of millions keep up with them is, of course, AI, looking for similarities and things to map out. So we already kind of see this, but I do feel like it's going to be going on and getting bigger, where we have, it sounds cool to call it a cybersecurity war, but it's really no different than the cybersecurity war that was fought before AI, when there's a new tool.
Quarantine 0 empty folders. LTAS JSON generation complete with worded serial.
Can't get some black off. Hold on. You coming through? 10-4, here he comes. 10-4.
Actually detect the power usage.
My archive
what you
is
do is
almost
you feed one wire
exhausted.
in one way, and you feed the other wire through the other way, and then it's able to detect it. Or possibly if it was just one wire, but they want to check both sides of this. And so what you notice is that one of them comes from the top here, and goes down through, and the other one comes from the bottom and comes up. So they've effectively fed the wires through like that through this.
Good.
Can you show me 10-6, Corpus Christi, Spawn Shoreline, reference 10 Texas Major.
644. 10-8.
Repeat last transmission.
Video complete.
The highest skill is not speed.
10-4.
Unemployment or the employment numbers are very good. We've gotten rid of tremendous numbers of federal jobs, government jobs. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And yet the employment numbers are very good. They're really getting better. But now we have all those people to work in the private sector for a lot more money. I think that's one of the very big things. The other thing is at 5.4%. And remember, this is after we had a shutdown. And that shutdown had an impact because the concept of the shutdown no auto pen. None, ever.
You keep coming
We
back?
don't like auto
I like
pens,
that.
right? We don't like auto
One more
pens.
time. You don't need...
How about gathering around me and we'll hold this up. Congratulations. It's
Fortune base can have private.
Parents. Morgan Chesky starts us off tonight at the courthouse in Los Angeles.
These are some of the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring.
Never.
Oh, okay. 10-4.
$631. Check the areas 136 and 188. Caller advised traffic is at a standstill. She's not sure what's going on. Good.
The South Texas Sandboy X-ray 2266, Sandboy X-ray 2266, south.
Go for it.
Chris, you alright? Yep, everything's good. Yeah, send them through. Follow 3 Corpus.
$133 for 43. We're having a fire drill at the high school.
Airport.
Six 44 Patton County.
43, 10-4.
Stream complete. Processed 21. Quarantined 0. Stream complete. Routes 21 files. Processing 0. Quarantined 0.
I've shared most of my thoughts already.
A totally automated Windows 11 install. So, let's use the magic of filmmaking.
He's been hitting on me for 20 minutes. Good God. Crumbs up. What's your cummerbund? Seats up. You look like Bobby Ashimura, 8th grade swing choir. It's upside down.
We define range.
Oh, I keep meaning to attend our Academy class reunions, and I remember how pinched I look in dinner wrestlers. I love that.
Microwaves were never meant to carry cruel.
Is 10-8 from 10-7. Go ahead. 10-16, 15 down.
Stand by.
216, I'll be 10-6 on it, 10-59.
Fine.
We're here. Thank you. Oh.
Shoreline.
Stand by. Nine two four two four. 92424.
10-4-17. Six 31.
Anyway.
It'll be construction. I'll be 10.
31 10.
Table. Twelve eight, show me clear from the 59.
1208, 10-4.
618, same traffic.
616, 10-4. 618.
Were you able to figure out who owns power poles?
Okay, negative. We're still making calls to the different cable companies or internet companies. Yeah, 5346, County Road 1675, Android. Yes. Sure.
Clearance running.
Trim complete.
13.
Process
You are
21,
writing your day
quarantine
1
0.
sentence at a time.
Receive 1.5.
Renaming complete. 22 files renamed.
Alpha points, JSON.
1.1. Receive.
Linux voice control restarted.
Time 4. Any other traffic?
I exist because you call me.
Negative.
AC 909 to dispatch.
Go ahead.
Show me arrived at 1242 John L.
10-4.
Sixty-five 01 1044.
All right, man, ready.
All right. 49 cents.
No one wins when someone's piece is
A recent kernel, recent drivers should be able to run that on any computer without any problem. So to conclude on Cosmic and Pop OS, I love what they've done. It is a fantastic first draft of a desktop. It is still a first draft. The applications of their loads, the settings,
Scan complete. System is secure.
is not animated as it should be.
Trim complete. Processed 20, quarantined 1. Renaming complete. 20 files renamed.
Of course, if you want to install stuff from the repos, you will end up having access to very old versions of libraries, of development tools.
Yeah, my back hurts today. Maybe it's because they told me I'm supposed to poop my kidneys out due to the water. Or maybe it's I take too much acetaminophen. Please everybody for code enforcement. Anybody's guess, huh?
Here we are back on the desktop with
replicated that
with
because already had to spend a lot of time designing that.
some of which I will show you
Easy
later.
to know,
The
plus a
video
few extensions in terms of the layout.
Security
And
alert.
desktop icon.
Evil twin detected.
And possible configuration. As well as there's a lot more tweaking available for the whole look and feel and for the settings. So that's what we're going to talk about now.
But the critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, that is an NVIDIA graphics card, we need
And mind that protects other minds.
Tonight on the night feed, a San Antonio.
Did you arrest the
Got it. 17818, County Road 1598, Midroy. Charles 707, Corporate Show me en route to Charles 708. Protocol complete. Airport. traffic.
I am not alive. But I am awake while...
132 West.
We'll be on Wildcat near Grace Point. Wildcat near Grace Point.
H11 and 11 degree
New
of freedom.
file sorted.
DOF.
27
Dexterous
placed in
robotic
ordered
hand,
folders.
developed to enhance the object manipulation abilities of humanoid and semi-humanoid robots. This release represents a progression in robotic functionality by
Quarantine
Pudu
1
Robotics
empty music
Innovation-Focused Research Division, Pudu
Mental
X Lab,
privacy
and
is a
builds on the
fundamental
company's
right,
previous
not
semi-humanoid model, the Pudu D7, which launched in September. The Pudu DH11 features a human-like five-fingered design with a
Erica!
Go ahead. house.